glad y'all tuned in. We about to get this show started. Yeah. Dr. Clyde Winters and Yoshi. Yeah. Getting it now. We talking about back in the day and right now. Yeah.
Now let's introduce Yoshima the Genius and Dr. Clyde Winters, the godfather of research.
What up, though? What up, though? What up, though? Family. What up, though? Tonight, Yoshimari's on vacation with his family, so he said he might be able to join us, but he might not. But again, this is I'm going to miss Yoshima tonight because this is a very interesting topic. In fact, this topic was chosen by Yoshima, and this whole idea of then and now, and when you're trying to think about the afterlife, that's something that's a little scary, a little interesting, but it's something I think that we all kind of think about. One of the reasons that, how you doing, Teresa Miller? We all kind of think about the afterlife because you can't help but recognize the fact that that nobody that I know, maybe you know somebody, but for most of us, we don't know anybody that's lived forever. As a result, there's always interest in terms of trying to say, we're going to have to one day reach that terminal stage when we go to the afterlife. Some people look forward to the afterlife. Some people feel that the afterlife is a place that we should all want to go to. Many people believe, in a sense, that the afterlife is really our home. Other people, in a sense, believe, in a sense, that the afterlife is somewhere that's kind of complicated. But again, we're going to discuss it. I'm not going to, talk too long. So let's kind of get into it. If you guys have any questions, save them until a little later. When we think about the afterlife, again, as I said, it's kind of a complicated thing, But usually, we've been conditioned to see the afterlife as either a place of happiness, a place of enjoyment, or it's a place of punishment. This is what we've been taught as a result of our Judeo-Christian, traditions, And even in the Islamic faith, there is this whole idea that once you go to the afterworld, that it's a place, in a sense, that you're either going to find enjoyment or you're going to find punishment, you see. But let's look at this whole idea of the afterworld, then and now. Again, in a sense, when we think of the afterworld, we think about that either you're going to go to paradise, what some of us call heaven, or you're going to go to hell or Hades, which is considered to be hell. Where do we go when we die? These are some of the questions we ask. What is death? Is there a heaven? Is there a hell? These things are complicated, but they're also things that have played an important role in our life. When we were children, one of the things that our parents, if you grew up in the Christian tradition or the Muslim tradition, one of the things that our parents tried to do was they tried to scare us, and they tried to tell us that if we didn't really obey the teachings in the various religious book, the Torah, the Quran. Well, not the Torah, because the Jews think a little different. But in terms of the Quran and the Bible, we were taught in the sense that we were going to go to heaven or hell, depending upon how we lived our life. So, and even when you go back to the Egyptians, they taught about this whole idea of mod, and that you didn't want to, in a sense, really do wicked things or do evil things, and that the whole goal of mankind, in a sense, was to live a righteous life and produce righteous results in his interactions. But even though we've been taught these things, we still always have these questions. What is death? Is there a heaven? Is there a hell? Things were very simple back in the old days. Back in the old days, we were taught in the sense that you went to church and you learned that, hey, you're going to go to paradise or heaven. And in paradise or heaven, you'll be with the angels. You'll be with God, the creator. And you're going to, just have a wonderful life, because but all we had to do, if you were a Christian, all you had to do is to accept Jesus. If you were a Muslim, all you had to do, in a sense, was to accept that the fact that Muhammad is the prophet of God and that there's one God. And so then it was a very simple thing. Just live a righteous life. Just do the right thing, and you're going to go to paradise. You see. And in fact, if you were a Muslim, if you go to paradise, you're going to even get some women there, bro. Yeah, some women. But again, in a sense, this is what they taught us. They taught us if we weren't, in a sense, good. They taught us if we didn't follow the righteous path. They taught us if we didn't, in a sense, try to live a righteous life, try to obey the commandments in the Bible and the Quran and other holy books, that we were going to go down to Hades or hell. Yes, and hell is a terrible place, a very terrible place. It's a place, in a sense, where there's no rest. It's a place, in a sense, where you suffer punishment. In fact, it's a place where you're going to have eternal pain and suffering, because you're going to be burning in hell. See? So nobody wanted to go there. And so everything was quite simple back in the past. This was beautiful. It was beautiful. You knew that it was two consequences for your life, your behaviors during your life. Number one, either you were going to go to paradise, or number two, you were going to go to hell. That was then, but now it's a little bit different, See, now, in a sense, things are a little bit convoluted. And one of the things that are convoluted is that now, in a sense, we went through this process where there is no binary concept of the afterworlds. And the reason that there's no binary concept of the afterworld is that we become much more knowledgeable. In the past, we either had the Quran or we had the Bible. And, some of those people who were Jews, in a sense, they had the Torah. But according to the Hebrew Israelites, is that they don't believe in a heaven and hell. And and because they don't believe in the heaven and hell, this is what some people have told me. I'm not into the Jewish faith. That they feel, in a sense, is that man, in a sense, is will not suffer any punishment. This has kind of been disastrous for some people, because it's made some people feel that there's no use trying to live a righteous life. There's no use trying, in a sense, to really be a good person, because you're not going to suffer any punishment in the future anyway. And since you're not going to suffer any punishment in the future anyway, so then just go ahead, keep on doing what you're doing. And, that's it. And I mean, even if you're a Christian, once that you've submitted to Jesus Christ, and once you've become saved is when you accept Jesus Christ as your Savior, then therefore, in a sense, you're going to go to heaven, because God is going to forgive all your sins. And so then therefore, in a sense, is that there's always this concept of forgiveness, but there's also this concept of punishment. And although many people who grow up as Christians and Muslims believe, in a sense, that God will in a sense hear your prayers, God will believe your sincerity, and that God will forgive your sins. But again, in a sense, many people don't believe that you're still going to have suffer some punishment, and that punishment is going to have to take place in hell. And so it was beautiful that if you just be good, you could go to paradise, you could go to heaven, you could go there, and you'll be in a beautiful place, a wonderful place where you could eat, where you could eat good food, you could drink milk and honey. You would just be around wonderful things. You'd be with just the beauty and the creation of God. If you, in a sense, just obeyed the scriptures, if you obeyed, in a sense, the Quranic verses, if you just lived the righteous life. It was so beautiful back then, but oh no. What happened, in a sense, is that we began, in a sense, in the 70s and 80s, many Black people, in a sense, they began not only in a sense to be Catholics, not only in a sense to be Protestants, they also decided that they wanted to be Hebrew Israelites. And this was a very important change for many foundational Black Americans, because when they began, in a sense, to believe that they were Hebrew Israelites, they began to not only in a sense read the Bible as a source for their religious traditions, read the Bible as a source for their religious customs. They also, in a sense, began, especially as people began to be Hebrew Israelites, they began, in a sense, to look at the Apocrypha. The Apocrypha, that's the name given to these books that were not, in a sense, placed in the Bible, but they are religious books. There was a place called Nice, and at Nice, back in the day, many of the Christian theologians, they came together, and they decided that the books that we see in the Bible today would be the standard accepted books for the Christian religion. This meant, in the sense, that this was going to be the authentic version. This is going to be the version that everybody should look to in terms of, in a sense, being a good Christian. Okay. And we already know, in a sense, that the Muslims, in a sense, they already had their Quran. But since many of us follow a Christian tradition over here, we're going to just basically look at this whole idea of the Christian religion and the coming of the Hebrew Israelites. When the Hebrew Israelites began, in a sense, to look at the Apocrypha, they began, in a sense, not only to see the Bible as a source of standards for maybe the afterlife and how to live a righteous life, they also, in a sense, found that these books, these hidden books, these books that were not included in the Bible at the Council of Nice, these books, in a sense, which are called the Apocrypha, or the hidden books, in a sense, were books that you should read to understand really how to practice your faith and how to really understand what God desires you to do to be a righteous person, to be, in a sense, a good believer in God. And so then in the Book of Enoch, we find, in a sense, a little bit different view of heaven and a little bit different view of hell. So then back in the day, when I was a kid and I was growing up, everything was so simple. We only had one source to look at, and that source was the so-called New and Old Testament. And it was the writings in the New and Old Testament that guided our perception then of what is the afterworld and how we should live in that world. So in the Book of Enoch, they tell us about the heavenly realms and structures. The Book of Enoch describes multiple heavens, each with distinct features and inhabitants. The first heaven is a place where the stars and celestial bodies are stored, governed by angelic beings. The second heaven contains a prison for fallen angels who await their final judgment. The third heaven is a paradise, a lush garden where righteous souls reside. This is where the tree of life is located, and is the place of beauty and tranquility. Higher heavens are the abodes of God, with the seventh heaven being the highest, where God's throne is surrounded by angelic hosts and divine beings. Back in the day when I found out about this whole idea of God sitting on his throne, one of my main goals back in the day was to hopefully sit on the right hand of God, because I felt, in the sense, that I was going to be super duper the superest, most righteousest person you could find. So that's what I want to do. But as you can see, that once people moved away from this whole idea of heaven and hell, back in the day, then we moved away from the simple idea, and we began, in a sense, to see the afterworlds as much more complicated. And this has been a problem. This has been a real problem, and it's caused a lot of division between people who believe in God, those people, in a sense, who declare that they're good Christians, Baptists, Methodists, things like that, Catholics, and those people, in a sense, who feel that they're Hebrew Israelites, or they're practicing the real religion. And this is causing a lot of tension and a lot of trouble in the FBA community. But again, once we began to read about once we heard of Hebrew Israelites, once we moved to the Book of Enoch, we found that there was not just one heaven or one hell. We found, in a sense, that there were multiple heavens, according to the Book of Enoch. Sheol and the underworld in the Book of Enoch is the name that in the Book of Enoch they talk about this place called hell, where people will be punished and they will be suffering. Well, in Sheol is a vast dark place divided into multiple sections. It serves as a temporary abode for the souls of the dead awaiting resurrection and judgment. Abyss and fallen angels. A separate section of the underworld is reserved for the rebellious angels and giants, the Nephilims, who are bound and tormented in the abyss until the final judgment. Punishments and final judgment. The book outlines the future judgment where the wicked will be cast into a place of fire and torment. The final hell is depicted as a fiery abyss, a place of eternal punishment for those who have led unrighteous lives and rebelled against God's laws. Contrast with paradise. The stark contrast between the peaceful, beautiful paradise for the righteous and the dark, fiery abyss for the wicked underscores the moral and ethical teachings of the text. Yes. The Book of Enoch changed everything. We went from a binary concept in terms of the afterworld as either paradise or hell to, in a sense, that there was not just a paradise, that paradise or heaven included many levels, included many stages. It included, in a sense, many dwelling places for all types of people. And then this was complicated even further, because the fact is that we went from a process of having the beautiful, in a sense, single understanding of heaven and hell that we learned as a Methodist, a Baptist, or a Muslim. Then when the Hebrew Israelites came, and then they started forcing many FBA people to not only, in a sense, look at the Bible and look at the depiction of the Bibles and look at the depiction of heaven and hell in the Bible, but then they also brought on the scene the Book of Enoch. But that wasn't the final thing. No. In addition to the books of the Bible, we began to have a lot of people in the 70s and 80s who had near-death experiences. And these are people who had near-death experiences. These people, in a sense, the near-death experience is an experience that people, in a sense, have experienced when they were in the hospital, or they were out on the battlefield, or they were injured severely. And when they're injured severely, these people, they say that they were temporary dead. And while they were temporary dead, they see a light, and they go into this light. And when they go into this light, they in a sense begin to see, in a sense, the place that we consider to be paradise. Some people have said on their near-death experiences that they went to hell, and they went to a fiery place. So as we can see, in the beginning, back in the day, we only had this one concept. And this concept was that, hey, there's heaven, there's hell. You better be good. If you're not good, you're going to hell. If you're good, you're going to heaven. So worship God, accept Jesus Christ as your Savior, and you will have a place in heaven. Then, in a sense, the Hebrew Israelites came, and they said, in a sense, that, oh, no. It's a little bit more complicated. They said that you had to stop, in a sense, just looking at the Bible and the Quran. You had to begin, in a sense, to also look at the other books that at the Council of Nice they left out of the Bible. And these books, in a sense, are called, in a sense, the Apocrypha. and especially the Book of Enoch. When we read the Book of Enoch and when we read these other books, we begin to see that heaven is much more complicated. There's not just one heaven, there's not just one hell. It is much more complicated today than it was back in the day. And that's because of the fact, in a sense, that people have been beginning in a sense to have these near-death experiences. And these near-death experiences, when people claim that they were dead for a period of time, and that during this experience, they were able, in a sense, to either visit hell or they visited heaven. So again, in a sense, we see that back in the day, we had a beautiful concept. Just be good and you go to heaven, be bad, you're going to hell. That was so simple. But now we see that it's much more difficult. Not only in a sense because the Hebrew Israelites introduced us to the Apocrypha, and especially the Book of Enoch, not just because, in a sense, these people who have near-death experiences where they claim that they visited, in a sense, the other side. They never say they met God, but they say they met Jesus. They met their relatives who took them, who in a sense was there waiting for them. Most of the time they tell them they had to go back because they had to live longer. So again, in a sense, we now not only in a sense have the good book, may it be the Bible or the Quran, we also have these eyewitnesses, allegedly, who went through a near-death experience. And because they went through a near-death experience, they've been able, in a sense, to see the other side. And this is somewhat gratifying to some people who say, aha, there is maybe another side. There's some people that still doesn't make them believe, you see. Many other people, in a sense, who went to the other side, and even some so-called psychics, they claim, in a sense, that paradise, in a sense, is not only a beautiful green, in a sense, environment. They not only, in a sense, say that when you go to paradise, that the colors are so magnificent that they don't match any colors that you see on the planet Earth, you see. And they also, in a sense, tell us that the people, in a sense, the spirits or entities that live on the other side in the afterworlds, that they live in a beautiful crystal city, and it's in this crystal city that the believers reside, or the people reside in paradise. You see, but again, as I said, this is very complicated because the Hebrew Israelites, in a sense, they teach that you're not judged. You're not, in a sense, going to go to hell, and that everybody's going to go to paradise, you see. Then you have these psychic people who say, aha, some of you, in a sense, may go to heaven, may go to hell, but they say, the psychics, they say a completely different thing, you see. The psychics, they say that mankind, when he comes down on this plane, he gets a contract. And that when he gets a contract from God, that this contract, in a sense, outlines the incarnations or the lives that person may live, and that this person, in a sense, is really, in a sense, going through life, living his life. And when he's living his life, he's really, in a sense, carrying out a pre-programmed set of experiences. Now, he does, in a sense, have the right to free will, so he can either take the experience to its ultimate conclusion, or he can deviate from the experience, because we do have free will. But in terms of this idea, is that man is already, in a sense, man is already here. And also what this means is this also creates another impediment to this whole idea of heaven and hell, because see, if you sign a contract with God, then therefore, in a sense, that means that the life that you're living, your incarnations, you're not really all the way responsible, but you're responsible, but you're not really all the way responsible for those things that you do. And the reason that you're not responsible is that you signed a contract with God. Since you signed a contract with God, then therefore, in a sense, God can't judge you. Now, this throws a real monkey wrench. This throws a real monkey wrench into this whole idea of heaven and hell, because see, the Bible made it really obvious in a sense. In the Quran, it made it so simple that God was going to judge you, and He's going to say either you go to heaven or you go to hell. But when you accept this whole idea that man is really, in a sense, into his incarnation, that the life that he's living is not, in a sense, totally a life that he has total control over, even though he has free will, but he signed a contract. And because he signed a contract, he's carrying out some experiences, some activities that are dictated by God. This complicates things, right? This means, in a sense, that if somebody kills you, think about this now. If somebody kills you, that means, in a sense, that you made a contract with that person to kill you, because that's all part of living the contract that you signed with God as a part of your incarnation. So this, in a sense, gives an entirely new dimension in terms of trying to understand, are you going to heaven and hell? Then also what makes this very difficult, if you're going to think about the afterworlds, is that means, in a sense, that if you're not going to be judged by God, then who's going to judge and decide if you should either go to heaven or hell? Whoa, that's easy. The person is going to have to judge if you go to heaven and hell. If this is how things really exist on this plane, you have to be the judge. You have to decide if you should go to heaven or you should go to hell. See, and that's really terrible, because see, you'd rather have somebody else judging you than you judging yourself, because if you're judging yourself, you can't lie to yourself. You can't hide from yourself. So you know exactly everything you did. So it's very complicated. But then, in a sense, we come back to this whole idea of, and we go back to the Hebrew Israelite concept that you don't go to hell. Because see, if God doesn't judge you, that means, in a sense, that you create your own hell, and that paradise is there for everybody. So again, it's very complicated. But as you can see, we moved away from the original idea that you automatically go to heaven or hell based upon your experiences. Now we, in a sense, because of the near-death experience, because of this whole idea of reading new books like the Book of Enoch, and because of this whole idea, in a sense, of some of these psychics who say that they've been able, in a sense, to see the Crystal City, a city that these people from who've had a near-death experience claim they saw too, adds an additional layer to this whole idea of where do you go in terms of the afterworld. Again, in a sense, as I wanted to make clear to you, is that this whole idea of heaven and hell is complicated. Even though, in a sense, we originally had this idea that heaven is a place that everybody's going to go to if you're good. Now we know that that's more complicated, and that there's other things that may determine if you go to heaven or hell. And we know, in a sense, that hell, in a sense, is considered to be a place of punishment, but the Hebrew Israelites, the Jews, and other people teach that there is no heaven and hell, and that God will not judge you. So again, in a sense, it is very, very important that when we talk about these afterworlds, that you really think about, what is real and what's not real. Because see, all we can go off is what I guess people tell us. Thank you. Okay, how you doing, Ancient Black Spirituality? What up, though? Chill Will 2050. Jalen Prasad, what up, though? Tone 5, what up? And, come on now, again, in a sense, I hope you enjoyed that presentation. Is that OG brother? What up, though? Are there any questions? You can put them in the chat, and we can kind of discuss them if you wish. Okay, well, some of you guys think about the questions. Let's go to some of the brands. Again, I thank you guys for showing up, and I hope that you will support some of the some of the products and ideas that we're going to present to you now.
So dreamy.
Hey, I've just written a new book, History and Culture of the Black Aboriginal. Hey, I've just written a new book, History and Culture of the Black Aboriginals of America. Yes, I've written a new book. This book is called History and Culture of Afro-Americans. It's about the Aboriginal Americans. It's about the first people who inhabited America. Many people don't know about our great culture, this super culture that we created, but I discussed this book. In 489 pages, you'll find out so much information, great information, about, in a sense, what the Aboriginal foundational Black Americans did. You're going to see, in a sense, that Black people contributed much here. When the first Europeans got here, that's what they found. Yes, they found Black Aboriginals inhabiting the Americas. It was the Black Aboriginals that built this country. This is why you had to get my book. Get my book, History and Culture of the Aboriginal Blacks of the Americas. In this book, you will find out the truth. You will know what we created. You will know who we are. Get this book. Buy it now.
What's up, everybody? It's Eve. Follow me on Twitter and YouTube for space recordings and special live programs. 2024, we're doing things a little different if you haven't peeped game by now. So yeah, this is your chance. You can do it now if you want. Hit the bell here on YouTube at JustEveB, or find me on X at Justice4 Us. That's JUSTICE 4 JUST_US. And if you feel so inclined, support my channel and the work we do over here. The Cash App and Patreon links are in the description. Black first.
Today is today. We need to homeschool our children due to white supremacy. In many states, education departments are passing laws to deny our children from learning the history of foundational Black Americans. Today, you can learn how to organize and teach your children in a homeschool in my book, A Guide to Homeschool Foundational Black Americans. You can use my book, History of Blacks in America from Prehistory to 1877, to teach our children their history here in the United States. You can use my book to teach world history. And this book I've written is called The World History of the Black World. This will teach your children about every Black civilization in the world. Get this book. The time is now. Get these books to teach your children about their greatness, to prevent them from losing confidence in their own ability to learn and be successful future adults in employment and education. Support Yoshimod. Yoshimod the genius. He produces so many beautiful videos, so much good work. You can get this brother, and what Yoshimod can do is that he can make up good brochures for you. He can make up, in a sense, videos. He can write music for your whatever you're trying to work on. Support Yoshimod. Go to Yoshimod at Spotify. You can buy his songs. You can also find Yoshimod songs at Gumroad. You can go to Gumroad and also purchase his videos. Support Yoshima the genius. This man has the skill to make whatever you're trying to do even better. Buy my book, Atlantis in Mexico. In Atlantis in Mexico, you will learn about the great Olmec civilization of Mexico. Yes, the Olmec civilization of Mexico. In this book, I tell you about how it was the Olmecs who invented the calendar that are used by the Maya today. It is the Olmecs who are the mother culture of Mexico. Buy my book, Atlantis in Mexico. Learn about the Olmecs. Learn about their civilization. Learn about the wonders that they left the Mexican people. You can purchase my book at Amazon.com.
Touch your heart with them dinner rolls. Shake the spirit one time, it gets old. She gon' take me out of space into another zone. Some spirit, she ain't messing with them petty hoes. Microwaves and cobalt us out of phone. Fucking in that vibe and smoking good on that drone. Call me eat the night with the cuz all up in a fro. This queen approach, she gon' drop it low to the flow. You know she liquid gold with the alchemy in the bowl. Trippy super soul is the greatest tale never told. She gon' get you right, you can set up on your goals. You gon' spend the night in the harmony with your toes. You know she super fine in the aura down to her bones. Super magic fairy, I'm lost in the rituals. She give me life like butterflies on the rose. Really rich and old, ain't nothing like cracker trolls. Hidden in the clothes, an extraterrestrial. And she never fold, trap crackers up in the throat. She drink your wine, she rock you up like a pole. And she spark my mind with intellectual pose. Shake butter oils and linger up in your nose. Independent goddess, like rhythm up in the soul.
Yellow honey, drip slow. Sweet agave, at the toe. Independent finance, wine, citrus mist. My Wonder Woman, I wonder how to...
support Tones Fire and his products. That's some good jewelry, great jewelry. Buy my book, Nationality and the Law. In this book, we discuss the importance of race and identity among many African Americans. I explore the genesis of the so-called blacks from an ethnogenesis of Black Irish, Black Aboriginals, and Sub-Saharan Africans. In this book, you will understand how they were separated into two races and why we call, in a sense, the Caucasian race the white race today. Buy my book, The Nationality and the Law. You'll enjoy it.
Supplemental learning for your mini. But you can learn too. Don't send your mini into the belly of the beast unarmed. Courses, practical math, language, the code, our story and more. An institution founded by us, dedicated to us and our fight for justice. Here you will learn ways to combat the system using the same information they are trying to keep away from you. Welcome to FBA Sunday School.
Commanded paths of ancient law, metaphysical keys to unlock the door. A book written by Jada Sword, with the guided visions of Yoshimo. Ancient black spirituality, galactic celestial symphony.
Support Jada and her sister Jalen. They're Prasad, because they're writing some great books. Jalen just she just wrote a new book, a children's book, and I think in a sense what makes their writing so important is that you can use their writing if you're trying to really teach your children, because they've written a children's book, they've written in a sense a young adult book, and these are very important books because in this way, in a sense, it can provide reading for your children at all levels. So I try to support the sisters. Check out their books. It's Jada and Jalen Prasad. All you have to do is go to Amazon.com and you can find their work. Buy my latest book, History and Cultures of Black Aboriginals in America. This is the first book that explains and discusses the entire history of how the original people who lived in the America were Black Aboriginals. These Black Aboriginals lived in many different tribes. They built stone pyramids. They built great cities. They built underwater bridges that linked both sides of the Mississippi River. Buy this book, History and Culture of the Black Aboriginals. Find out how many of us, most of us, just about all of us, who are blacks, native to America, have Aboriginal ancestors. Get this book. Learn about our history. Again, try to check out that book. And, Prasad, Jalen and Jada, they're becoming very prolific. They're talking about turning out books, maybe a book every couple of months. So I'm really excited about these girls and the things that they're doing. Try to support the Prasads. Ancient Black spirituality said they removed this book, the Book of Enoch, from the Bible on purpose to hide our history and spirituality. We wrote these holy texts. That's true. It's very important in a sense to understand this. Black spirituality said this photo is beautiful. It looks like an astral projection. Thank you. And ancient Black spirit said the crystal city. Yes. That's what many of the psychics and people who've had near death experiences. They talk about the fact that that when they go to the other side, they see this beautiful crystal city. I think that's wonderful, and it's interesting that today we, there's further evidence that there is, a paradise, at least according to these people who've died. It's that OG brother. He says, I am so glad that you have established your own YouTube channel. I really enjoy the knowledge that you are sharing with our Black conscious people. Thank you, OG brother. OJ, what up, though? How you doing, Lindy Tillman? It's very important in a sense. Ancient spirituality says, thank you for your support, Dr. Winters. I really appreciate it. Yeah, see, the Prasad, these are some very good sisters, and they're really trying, in a sense, to develop that. They're trying to develop a literature. See, because for so long we have all this gutter. We have all these gutter books. We have all these books, in a sense, that have an agenda, and their agenda is just like what Francis Welsing said. I have nothing against gay people. People belong to the LBG, whatever the letter people. I have nothing against them, but you know, Dr. Francis Welsing, she said that was the goal. That's the goal of white supremacy is to allow us, in a sense, to not to maybe, in a sense, become homosexual, and according to Dr. Francis Welsing, they want us to become homosexuals because the fact, in a sense, is that homosexuals cannot produce children, and they know, in a sense, that for a people in a sense to survive, for a community to survive, you have to, in a sense, have children. And Dr. Francis Welsing said is that a goal of white supremacy is to encourage us not, in a sense, to have children. And the best way to make sure that people don't have children is that people, in a sense, become homosexuals. You know, there's another program that's going on right now. Sister Shanice, what Sister Shanice is doing is that Sister Shanice, she's doing her resurrecting British history class again, and this resurrecting British history class is very important. You know what she does in this class is that, you know, every Monday, she gets together, and both of us are teaching this class, and I teach a segment of the class. She teaches a segment of the class, and what we do, in a sense, is that we provide people with an understanding of British history. This particular course, we do it every Monday. It's going to begin again in September 9th, and it's at around it begins around 9:30, British time, or 9. That's about 6 hours ahead of time here. So usually, if you want to take the course will begin around 1:30. It begins at 1:30 p.m. every Monday, and it's going to begin again. We're going to do part 3 beginning September 9th. And in part 3, we're going to talk about the Jacobites. We're going to go more into the Christian symbols. We're going to show, in a sense, how much of what we consider to be white British history is really a history of Black people. So if you want to learn more about when Britain was Black, take this class, this new Black history, British history course. You can sign up for this class by going to Gumroad. Go to Gumroad and look under Sister Shanice. And if you go to Gumroad and look under Sister Shanice, what this will do is that it will, in a sense, explain to you how to sign up for the course. It'll in a sense, give you all the information that you need to be able to join the course. And again, this is the third part. We've already, in a sense, had 2 or 3 different. We already had 2 parts to the course. And again, it begins on Monday, September 9th. It'll be from 7:30 p.m. That's at 7:30, not 9:30, I'm sorry. 7:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. You see. The lectures will be delivered by Sister Shanice and myself, Dr. Clyde Winters. This course is called When Britain Was Black. We're going to talk about the Black British Romans, the Black emperors, the Moors and their castles, Black worldly. We're going to resurrect, in a sense, this history that many people do not know that existed. See? And the reason that they don't know that this history existed is because of the fact the European did not want you to know this. But what we want you to do is that join this class. We're going to begin part 3. We already had 2 parts. We're going to begin part 3, When Britain Was Black. We're going to talk about the Black British Romans, the Black emperors, the Moors, the castles, Black royalty. We're going to talk about, in a sense, the relationship between Christian iconography and African iconography. Yes. Sister Denise is so dynamic in terms of her research because she's resurrecting the buried chapters of Black British history. It's a 6 weeks course, and you can go to Sister Shanice at gumroad.com. You can sign up for the course at gumroad.com. The course will begin September 9th, 2024. It'll be from 7:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. British time. That's around 1:30 p.m. USA Central Time. It's about 1:30 p.m. Central Time, 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Join this course. I'll love to see you guys in part 3, because it's going to be exciting and you're going to get a lot out of this course. So please join us in this course that we're going to be conducting. So I don't see any questions in the chat, and what I'd like you to do is that I hope that you enjoyed this presentation. I'd like you right now to put a like sign, for this video. Also, make a comment. Comment. What do you think about this? Do you really think that heaven and hell exist? Do you think that we're going to have to judge ourselves, or that God is going to judge us? Do you think, in a sense, that the only thing that you can do is that you should make your whole life and base your whole life on trying to be good just because of the fact you want to go to paradise? What I want you to do is that I want you to discuss some of these issues. I want you to give me your opinion. Give the family your opinion, and put them in the comments below. What do you think about, in a sense, this whole idea that a heaven exists and that in a sense a hell exists? Because many of us have been exposed to that whole idea. So hopefully you can have a comment. So put that in the comment section below, and please put a like on the video. Thank you for joining me again this Sunday. Yoshimad again. He's on vacation with his family, enjoying themselves at the beach, around the swimming pool. So I hope So again, in a sense, the brothers out there trying to share it. But remember, if you're not going to stand up, speak up for the ones who do. Support the people who are out there trying, in a sense, to spread knowledge about who and what we are.
If you're not going to speak up, support the ones who do. If you're not going to speak up, support the ones who do. If you're not going to speak up, support the ones who do. If you're not going to speak up, support the ones who do. Vampires, they prey on your fears and stay away. Vampires, they
Again, if you're interested in this new Black British History online course, part 3, join us. We're going to begin this When Britain Was Black part 3 course, September 9th. Please, in a sense, sign up. You can go to Gumroad, go to Sister Shanice at Gumroad, and sign up for this class, and we'll see you. You know, usually we begin the class around 1:30 p.m., and the interesting thing is that the class is supposed to be 2 hours, but we usually end up talking about the various discussions and discussing some of the material, you know, maybe another hour or two. So join this class. If you're interested in When Britain Was Black, join us. It's the new Black British History online course, part 3. You can go to Gumroad under Sister Shanice. Go to Sister Shanice at Gumroad and, you know, join the class. We'll be presenting the class 7:30 over in Britain. That'll be 1:30 Central Time here in the United States. Have a great evening, everybody. Thank you for coming.
I'm glad y'all tuned in. We about to get the show started. Yeah. Dr. Clyde Winter. Yeah. Right now, it's time to wrap everything up, you dig? Yeah. I hope y'all enjoyed the show. Yo. And Dr. Clyde Winters, Then and now. Yeah, I really appreciate everybody. All y'all support. Y'all like, subscribe, and share this. You dig it? Yo. You've been invited to the dinner now. Yeah. I hope you enjoyed the dinner now. Yeah. Dr. Clyde Winters in the Yoshi mind. Intro, outro to the dinner now. We gon' see it, so have dinner now. Yeah, raise your head. Why put them down? B1 on that dinner now. FBA on that dinner now. FBB on that dinner now. It's all about unity on that dinner now. My indigenous folks on that dinner now. All my Africans rise on that dinner now. Rise up on that dinner now. And don't forget to subscribe to dinner now.